Good morning. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the new AJR album, OK Orchestra. Let's get to it. Let's break down these tracks a little bit. Okay, so the first song is OK Overture. Now, overall, this is not a bad song, but I'm just not a huge fan of these intro overture type things. I'm really not. I think there's like a big display of technical skills in these, and it's pretty impressive. But overall, it just feels like a spoiler for the album, you know, like this is what's to come, everybody. Instead of just presenting what's there, it's kind of like, here it comes, and I'm like, no, just bring it to me. I tend to skip these sort of things whenever I see them. I don't like them very much. It is what it is. But I mean, they have instruments merging into different instruments and transforming and all kinds of stuff like that. So maybe it's for you. It's not for me, but maybe you'll enjoy it. So give that track a try out, but not for me. The next track is BUMMERLAND. 'Cause we're only going up from here. Now, this is arguably one of my favorite quarantine anthems. It's kind of a bop in that way. Now, there's a little bit of AJR quirkiness in there. Like, I'm not super big on the haircut lyrics. Like, I get it. I understand what it means, but it's a little much for me. It's a little bit heavy-handed on the quirkiness. I know that's their style, but it just doesn't do it for me. It's kind of nice, though, because in a time where, you know, there's not a whole bunch of hopeful energy, I think it's pretty cool that they put out a song that has like this acknowledgement of how everything kind of sucks, but it has like a hopeful undertone under it, like, hey, we're only going up from here. So it doesn't downplay the isolation or disappointment that 2020 has brought so many people. So I think there's some value in it for sure. The third song is called 3 O'Clock Things. Firstly, I want to say genius making it the third track on the album. Genius. As a person who stays up pretty late overthinking things that seem pretty trivial at first, but then they slowly snowball into like these really detailed and intense issues, it definitely feels validating to hear a song that goes through that process, because I'm no stranger to it. There's a turn where things get pretty political, but I think it's done tastefully in a way that's sort of self-aware. It ends with a pretty important line that I think solidifies the headspace of the writers, and I don't know, I like it. Probably not my favorite off the album, but this is a gem on there for sure. This is one I recommend checking out. This song's called My Play. Now, this one is probably my second favorite off the entire album. As a person who comes from a broken home, touching on these topics can be incredibly validating for me. The inability to share yourself with both parents because they're separated has been displayed so elegantly here through the writing and even through the animated music video. So there's some value in this track. Very well executed concept. It gets a gold star from me. Good job, boys. This song is called Joe. Bit of a weird song title, I know. It's a bit hard to review because, like, I get the concept entirely. Like, I've lived in the shadow of other people. I've wanted to impress people that are my friends and people I idolize and stuff like that. But melodically, this is just not one of my favorites, you know? It's just not. It's just not one of my favorites. I think this concept deserves being revisited in a later project, but it's by no means bad. It's just not one of my favorites, and I think they can do better. Adventure is out there. I don't get it. Did they just lose their socks and go, bro, this is the one, we gotta write about this. This is the one. I lost my socks. I lost my socks. I'm obviously joking, but this is another one that didn't really hit me, I think, the way it's intended to. I was really happy to hear Ryan on the lead vocals because I actually really enjoyed turning out part 1 and part 2. Particularly part 2 more so. I hope to hear more songs with Ryan on the lead vocals in the future, but despite that little nugget there, I don't think this is one I'll come back to. Socks. Socks. Here we go. This song is called Bang, and this song is big. No, seriously big. Like, on purpose big. Sonically, it's quite a display. Like, it can even be a bit hypnotizing sometimes, but overall, definitely far from my favorite. There's value in it if you really like that big sort of sound, but once TikTok got a hold of it, I kind of was just like, you know what, I'm really tired of hearing this every time I scroll. Like, no thank you. I like it, but it's not my favorite, and I felt like it got more attention than that one deserved. I think there's a couple other songs on here that deserve way more attention than Bang, but I digress. The Trick. Listen, I don't like this one that much. Some people have it as like their favorite. I get it. I don't really like this one that much. I think the Tiny Tim voice thing could have been good as an intro. A little bit overdone. I understand the dichotomy between the truth and the lie and the anti-hero sort of concept. Again, great concept. Could have been executed better. Tiny Tim voice is a bit grating over time. Should have been for the intro, not for the whole thing. Understood the dichotomy. Not for me. Next track, please. Ordinaryish People. This one's interesting. A really good concept of not being able to impress your friends because they're all sort of stuck in the confines of these like personality archetypes and stuff like that, like these subcultures and things like that. So because you're a person with a foot in many different worlds, you kind of can't really relate to everyone on such a strong level. And even when you can, they feel like you're not them enough. So that's a little bit of an interesting concept. I kind of like that. I believe they featured the Blue Man Group on this. Pretty cool. Interesting. Overall, this song, just like a lot of other AJR songs, has a lot going on. Makes it not particularly for me. It's a bit bloated in that way. But good job, great concept. This song is called Humpty Dumpty. When Humpty Dumpty went Humpty Dumpty went Humpty Dumpty went Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't that get kind of annoying? I really like the production on this one. It's not nearly as scatterbrained or bloated. It actually feels purposely full and elegant in that way. The chorus definitely eats away at my brain cells, but the writing outside of it is actually kind of special in my opinion. Like these verses and the concept, I don't know, I think it's well done. I think it's well done. There's something there. Kind of gives me a vibe similar to their previous album, Neo Theater. I like that album, actually. I think it was a pretty good album. World's Smallest Violin. I don't dislike this song. It's not great to me. I don't like it a lot. It's pretty good. I mean, like, it's there. I like the concept of not, feeling like, you should compare different levels of sad. Like, things can be sad at the same time, even though someone else has it worse, it's like, it's okay to be sad about the things you're going through because you're valid, I like that. Way Less Sad. This song is called Way Less Sad. I love it. This is the one, boys. You did it. And not just because it's a single either. Like, this is just really a good song. Like, just honestly, you guys hit it out the park with this one. Love it. Communicating moments of levity throughout depression and wrestling with whether or not it's even sincere just really struck a chord with me. Like, wow, that's so specific, but broad enough to be like profound and relatable at the same time, Like the production, fire. The verses, good. The hook, monster. Also, I just feel like that bridge with Jack having the super quick retune speed on his vocals was just like, mwah, it was a freaking chef kiss. I love it. I love it. If you pick any song off the album to listen to, just make it this one, please. Christmas in June. No, I refuse to acknowledge this song exists. The album should have ended with Way Less Sad. That will be all. This album gets a 6.5 out of me. Don't get me wrong, I think it's technically a marvel. Like, there's so much production on here where I'm like, wow, I can't believe they did that, but that doesn't make it necessarily pleasing. It's kind of like, skill and substance aren't necessarily the same thing. They intersect sometimes, but I don't think they're the same thing. I hope in a future album, AJR explores the realm of restraint. I think that's an art in itself, and something a little bit more minimal might actually benefit them in some regard. Of course, leave a couple tracks on there to be big, to be bang, to be way less sad. But I think stripping things back and not going so crazy over the top with the structure and the effects might actually benefit you, and just really let that good songwriting, I mean, obviously there's quirkiness sometimes that kind of overshadows the good songwriting, but let those good concepts shine. Anyway, thanks for watching. Good night.